have just arrived, this is what we're going to be doing today. It is on the board. If you have done this in class already and you're feeling good with it, you're welcome to start working at this question. But I'm just going to give everyone else 2 minutes more to arrive, just until 5. And we will get going on the dots at 5. Haven't some of you started writing your mocks? Isn't that what you told me last week? Has anyone started writing? You can let me know in the comments if you don't want to speak. Or your prelims or June papers. I don't know what each school is calling them. Has anyone started? Prelim paper 3 starts on Friday. Oh, sorry. Okay, let us get going. It is 5 o'clock, so those of the people who are still arriving, they will arrive when they arrive. So this is what we're talking about today, balance of loan and final payment. And I'm going to teach you a very specific way of doing this, and it's the way using the future value annuity formula. Now, if you've learned this in class, some of your teachers may have shown you how to do this using the present value annuity formula, and that's absolutely fine. If that's how you feel comfortable and you know what you're doing when you use that formula, please feel free to use it. It's totally okay. Sometimes the answers will be a little bit different, like a few rand difference, and in the end of your paper, both answers will be in the memo for marking. So if you feel more confident with the other way to what I'm showing you, then please stick with what you are happy with. But we're going to go through this sort of step by step. So I'm going to treat this as if people don't know what's going on with balance of loan and final payment, and sort of show you a skeleton of how to go through each question so you guarantee to get the right answer at the end of the day. And if you want to vary from that, that's okay. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at this first question. A car is bought for 180,000 Rand. 10% is paid as a deposit, and the balance is taken out as a loan to be repaid over 6 years. Interest is added at 10.5% per annum compounded monthly. Determine the monthly installments. So my first question to you is, which formula am I going to use here? Am I going to use compound, present value, or future value to determine the monthly installments? You can put your answers in the comments. So future value, present value, or normal compound interest. What am I going to use if I'm looking for monthly installments? Have a reread of the question. Okay, so we have one answer. Who else is feeling brave? Are you guys just relying on Ayush to do all your answering for you today? Think about what gives us a clue to which type of annuity it's going to be. If we have a bulk sum of money that's happening in the beginning, so we have this 180,000 Rand, and it was taken out as a loan, that's your keyword over there, loan, that we're repaying over time, and we're paying it in monthly installments. So the monthly installments is telling me that it's annuity, and the fact that it's a loan, which is a present value that I'm paying off slowly, tells me which formula I'm going to use. Thank you, Sipe. Okay, so I'm going to write down our present value formula over here. And just in case anyone doesn't have it, so our present value is x1 minus 1 plus I to the power of negative n all over I. And I'd like you all to think about this quite carefully and work out what x is going to be. Now remember that there's a trick to this question, because right at the beginning, 10% is being paid as a deposit. Okay, so try and work your way through this. I'm going to slowly start putting information on the screen, but I want you to first kind of see where you can get to this question by yourself. So you should be happy with what I've written up on the right-hand side so far. We found our N value. We've got our interest. And I haven't put my 180,000 as my present value because I first have to take into account this 10% deposit. So that's my little hint to you. Okay, so the next little thing we're going to think about is how do we work out that present value? We need to take into account that I've taken off 10% as my deposit. So my deposit was 10% of 180,000, which is 18,000 Rand. And so my balance, that's what I still have to pay off. That's my present value, is going to be my 180,000 minus the 18,000, which gives me 162,000. Okay. Okay, so I've got all the important information there for you now. Now it's just up to you to put this into the formula and find X for me. And as soon as you have your answer, please can you put it into the comments for me? Remember, it doesn't matter if you've made a mistake or if you've gone wrong somewhere. Mistakes are good. They're normal. Oh, we have some answers coming in. I like the little emoji. Let's see if we've got any others coming in. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to give it a go. Okay, just remember to put your answers in the comments as soon as you have got some. And it doesn't matter if it's wildly wrong, anything. I just want to see that you're giving it a go, that you're giving it a try. Ooh, I see an interesting answer. Yeah. Okay, I like it. So a lot of you are in the right sort of right space. I think something went wrong with a few people's calculations, but you're in the right area, which is good. I really enjoy the emojis that come along with your answers. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay, and so we have a few of you who have hit the nail right on the head. One of you who's out by just 1 cent, which makes my heart sad, but I think something just happened when you were rounding. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like when we've put it into, well, let's just put this into the formula. So X is what we're looking for. Then we're going to have 1 minus 1 plus our interest rate. That's compounded monthly to the power of negative 72 all over our interest rate over 12. And basically, when we're looking for X in this situation, we're going to put 162 into our calculator, and then we're going to say divided by, and we're going to put this whole fraction. And then that helps us find X. And what you should find, which some of you did find, so well done to those of you who got it right, is X is 3,042 Rand and 19 cents. I'm very sad for the one who got 20 cents. Oh, you used the wrong interest rate. Oh, what interest rate did you use? There was only one to see. But it's good. At least you saw where you went wrong. Oh, the 10% deposit. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. No, so in this case, we wouldn't round off because our next number is a 3. And that 3, it would have to be bigger than 5 in order for the 9 to become 20 cents at the end. So that's the only reason we're not rounding off there. So we technically are rounding off, we're just rounding down. Can you see legit? Oh, no question. Okay. Okay, this is where it starts getting interesting. Now, I'm going to talk you through this because I'm going to show you a very specific way on how to do it. And if you didn't do this way, like I said earlier, don't panic. You don't have to do it this way. Oh, sorry, Benedict, what's your question?
Do you take the whole bracket and divide it by the present value?
To find X here? Yeah. So if you grab your calculator for me and we can literally talk through this whole process. So the first thing we would do is we type in the 162,000. And then you're going to push divide and push your fraction key. And then you're going to put this fraction in exactly as it looks like over there. And that's going to help you find X, because basically it's the same as dividing by a coefficient, except in this case, our coefficient is really big and ugly. Okay. I'm going to leave it here in case people are still sort of working through that question, but just so we can start looking at the second part. So if I want to know the balance of the loan immediately after the 24th payment, the easiest way we can do this is a 3-step method. So I'm going to write these 3 steps and we're going to talk about them. The first step is we want to find what we're going to use our normal compound interest formula. And we want to find what would that loan be worth if I had made no payments. Okay. Then we're saying, no, but that's not true because I have made payments. We already know that I'm making a payment of 3,042 Rand and 19 cents every month. So the second part of this is we say, well, what have we paid by using our future value annuity formula? So I'm just going to write this in for you. We have X 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 all over I. And then our third part of this is when we're looking for the balance of a loan, we're going to take that, loud, somewhat of a loud banging situation. What we're going to do from there is we then take our future value, our A, and we minus our future value from that. So that's what we do for our final step of finding the balance of a loan. So the first thing is we find A, the second thing is we find our future value, and the last thing is we say A minus the future value, and then we get our balance. And if we follow these 3 steps, we never, ever, ever, ever will go wrong. Okay. So those of you who have never seen this method, this may feel like a little bit of a shock to the system, but don't panic. Just trust me. I promise it's worth your while. So let's do it step by step. First step, we're finding A. We know that we're wanting to know what it would be after 24 payments. And we know that the balance of the loan, well, the actual loan that we took out after the deposit was 162,000. So we're going to say 162,000, 1 plus our interest rate, which was 10.5% over 12 to the power of n, which is 24, because there are 24 payments. Okay. And we're going to put that straight into our calculator. We should get a number of 199,673. And I'm going to keep all my decimals because it's not my final answer. Okay, so that's step 1. Done. Step 2 is we're finding that future value. Okay, our X was 3042,19. Then we've got 1 plus our interest rate to the power of n, which is 24, minus 1, all over our interest rate. And again, we put that straight into our calculator, and we should get a total of 80853. Oh, goodness. Sorry. 80853 30977. And then our third step is we say our balance is our A minus our future value. So we're going to take this value, and I'm not going to rewrite them because I want us to save time so I can give you guys time to practice this. We're going to take that A value and we minus this future value, and we get a total of 118820. And now I can round off to 2 decimal places. Okay, so those of you who have not been doing it this way, or those of you who haven't learned this in class yet, please can you just take out a piece of paper, write this down as an example so that when you go through these later, you've got this there as like a little skeleton to work through. But I promise, anytime you have a balance of a loan question, this always works. And it's never complicated. We don't have to think about anything crazy. We don't have to think about what end's going to be because it's always given to us in the situation. So we find our A value through compound interest. We find our future value with our monthly payments. And then we take our A minus our future value. So I'm just going to give you a minute or two to make sure you've got this written down somewhere, just to help you as we move forward. And then we're going to talk about C. Okay, does anyone need me to sit here any longer? Just let me know. You can just put your hand up or you can say something in the comments. Okay. Okay, the last part of this question is how much interest has been paid over the first 24 months of repayments. So again, if we sort of sort this out into like a logical format that we know we can follow, we can always get the right answer. So when we're talking about how much interest we've paid, the first thing we want to think of is, well, how much have I actually like paid into this account? And I know I've been making a monthly payment of 3,042 Rand and 19 cents. And I have made 24 payments. Okay, so this is what I'm paying every month. And I've made 24 payments. And if we put that into our calculator, we get a total of 73012 and 56 cents. So that is how much I have paid into this loan. Okay, so that's our first step. Next step is we've worked out what the balance of the loan is at time period 24. So after the 24 months, that is what my balance is of my loan. So the second thing that we need to look at is, well, I had a loan of 160, let's look at this loan. I had a loan of 162,000. The balance of my loan is 118,820 Rand and 7 cents, which means that I have paid off, let me just quickly chuck this into the calculator, 162, 43179 and 93 cents. Okay, so let's just talk about exactly what these numbers are, because I can feel some of you are like, there's just numbers all over the screen. This is what I have physically paid from my pocket into my loan. So every month I've been putting money into my loan. This amount here is what has actually been paid off my loan. So that's how much I have reduced my loan by. That's what I've paid off my loan. And so if I want to know what have I actually just been paying of interest, it's what I've actually paid. So the 73,000 minus what I've paid off of my loan. And the answer to that is going to be how much interest I have paid. So in this case, over the first 24 months, I have paid almost 30,000 Rand of interest. So I'm just putting money into this loan to pay it off. And remember that the banks need interest. That's how they make their money. So you're paying interest, but you're not actually paying that all off of your loan. It's all interest. Okay, so these are the first sort of 3 questions of the way that they can be asked. We haven't dealt with final payment just yet, and we will talk about that in our next question. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move you on to our second question, and we're going to see if you're all confident to link with what we did in our last lesson last week to find me a value of n. Does anyone need to sit here any longer? Can I move? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is that a question or do you need to sit here longer?
I'm just cutting down that thing.
No problem. Take your time.
Yes, ma'am, I'm done.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's jump into example 2. Ashley takes a loan of 250,000 Rand and repays it with monthly repayments of 18,000 Rand. Interest is added at 10% per annum, compounded monthly. How many repayments of 18,000 Rand is needed to repay the loan? So my first question to you, and you can just give me A, B, or C in the comments, is which formula am I going to use to find my monthly repayments? So just choose A, B, or C. Read through the question again, look for those keywords. Okay, I'm seeing some answers coming in. Beautiful. Okay, it absolutely is C because it's a loan. And as soon as it's a loan, it is a present value bulk sum of money that I'm paying off slowly over time. So you're absolutely right. It is C. And, oh, just doing crazy things here. This is going to link to the last lesson we did where we were looking for N. I'm wanting you to find N for me now. So put all of your information in your grocery list down the side, put it into the formula, start solving for N. I'm going to slowly write some things down. Remember how you use log. And if you're struggling with something, unmute yourself, ask a question or ask it in the comments. Both are fine. But give this one a go. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to try it out. Don't panic, I'm not rushing you. I'm just going to start putting some information on the side for those of you who are struggling a little bit. And when you have an answer, please feel free to put that answer in the chat for me. Remember, my question is how many payments of 18,000 have been made? So just be careful with the wording of that. So if you got to the point that I have written up on the screen here, you're already sitting on 2 marks out of this question because you were able to identify your interest, you were able to identify the formula, and you've subbed it into the formula correctly. So if you got to this point, you're already sitting on 2 marks. Oh, okay, but Asipe, that's, remember, that's what negative n is equal to. So n would then be 14,82. So you're on the right track. Just think with that number, if your answer was 14,82, how many payments of 18,000 have I made? It'll be a whole number. Okay, so anyone who's oh, we got a 13. Okay. Anyone who's struggling with putting this into your calculator, I want you to take your calculator out now, and we're going to go through it step by step. We're going to work out exactly how to put this into the calculator. So the first thing we need to do is, our goal is, we are trying to isolate that dude over there. Okay, Danae has given us an answer as well. Thank you for that answer. So that's what we're trying to isolate. Now, in order to do that, we need to move everything around. So the first thing in our calculator, we've got this 250,000. So I want you to type that in. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that interest at the bottom by 250. So I'm going to say 250,000, and I'm going to multiply that by my 10% over 12. And this I'm all doing in my calculator, and I'm doing it with you. So we should all get the same answers. Okay. Next thing I want to do, so at the moment, if you push equals, you should have a fraction of 6250 over 3. Next thing we want to do is we want to divide that by the 18,000. So all over 18,000. But remember, in your calculator, you can also just say divided by 18,000. And now I'm sitting on a fraction of 25 over 216. Okay, and at the moment, that is equal to 1 minus 1 plus 10% over 12 to the power of negative n. So the next thing I want to do is I want to move that 1 over. So I'm still on my calculator. I have 25 over 216, and I'm going to minus 1. Okay, now I have negative 191 over 216 is equal to negative 1 plus 10% over 12 to the negative n. Now it's the same as if I had negative 2 is equal to negative x. Then if I swap them around, x would be equal to 2. So I get to just ignore those two negatives because they're both negative. Okay, well, I'm dividing by negative, or I'm swapping them. You can think of it however makes most sense to you. And now from here, I'm going to go into my log. Okay, sorry, I'm running out of space. I'm just going to write on the side over here. So I'm going to have log of everything in there. So 1 plus 10% over 12 to our answer. So 191 over 216, and that is equal to negative n. So on your calculator, remember, you're going to use the log, which has log and then a little closed square and then an open square. So on mine, it's right on the right-hand side next to the on button. And I'm going to put in my values, and I get negative 14,82 is equal to negative n, which means n is 14,82. Okay, now if we got to this point, we're already sitting on about 5 marks out of 6. But the question asked how many payments of 18,000, and this is what I was trying to stress to you last week. When we have a decimal like that, that's saying I have 14 of 18,000 and 1 smaller payment. So, oh, sorry. Here we go. Okay, so when we see this, we need to acknowledge that, and that's how we would have to answer this question. So how many payments of 18,000 have there been? There've been 14, and then there was 1 smaller payment. And last week when I brought this up, I was like, oh, and then we're going to talk about that decimal, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this next question. So I know this was a lot of information. I just wanted to kind of draw on what we had done in our lesson last week. Okay, so now we have to use this as we move forward. Determine the value of the final payment. Okay, so I'm just going to draw us a quick little timeline. Throwing things around. Okay, at the beginning, we had this loan of 250,000, and every month I was slowly paying off this loan, all the way until this time period where they've spoken about, which we've just worked out as in 14 full payments and then 1 smaller payment. So this time period over here, that's my 14th payment. That's the last time I made my last full payment of 18,000. Okay. Then that amount, so this is my balance of my loan at T14. Okay. That money then sits in the account for a month before I make my final payments. So all we have to do is we have to find the balance of the loan at time period 14 and then add 1 month of compound interest. Now, if you're struggling with this last bit, which is the final, this part over here, that's okay. But what I really want you to try and do is follow that 3-step program to see if you can find the balance of the loan at time period 14. So remember your steps. So the first step is you want to find A. Okay, and remember P is the value of the loan. The second step is you want to find your future value. Let's just write that formula in. And your third step is to find your balance, which is your A minus your FB. That's the first thing I want you to do. So I want everyone to try and put this information in and see if they can find the balance of the loan after the 14th payment. So that should have all the information that you will need on the screen. And it should be a really big number. Okay, so these are the 3 steps you should be following. on your side. Your A, your FV, and then your balance. All right, let's start having a look at some of these answers. So first of all, if we put that into our compound interest formula, which is this first part that I've got going on, we should get a total of 279,406,5994. Now again, I'm not rounding off because I'm going to be using that number. Remember, each time you're getting one of these things, you're getting marks. So even if you make a mistake later, up until this point, you're getting marks. Second, so I've done this step. Second step, I'm doing my future value formula. Again, I'm putting that into my formula, just into the calculator, and I should get a total of 265,489,0478. Our final step is we're taking this A value and we're minusing this future value, and that tells us the balance of the loan after our 14th payment. And that gave me 13,917 Rand, 55,158. And I'm not rounding that off because I'm going to use it. Okay. The important part here is that if we got to this point, a final payment question is normally about 5 marks. Right now, you're sitting on 4. So that's a really good start. So even if you just remember sort of this point, that's okay. So we know now the balance of the loan at time period 14, but it's sitting in that account for a month before I make my final payment. And anytime money is sitting in an account and I'm not paying anything into it, it's getting interest. So from here, for my final payment, I'm going to take this amount, this balance, and I'm going to use it as my P value with 1 month of compound interest. And that's it, because it's just getting 1 month of interest. And our final amount becomes 14,028 Rand and 54 cents. I'm sorry if the mess is writing all over the screen. I just wanted to kind of fit in as much as possible. The most important thing here is that when we make a final payment, let's just kind of bring this all together. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you this evening. When we're working out N, so like we did in the first question, that's telling us how many full payments we've made and how many, like that fact that we have one smaller payment. So if I know I've made 14 full payments, okay, so that's up to this point here, time period 14, then this little decimal, that's my final payment that I have to make. And that final payment is only going to be made a month later, which is why we add that 1 month of interest. So the first thing we're working out is this balance after the 14th payment. And then the last thing we're working out is what that payment would actually be. Does anyone have any questions or would like any clarification on anything that you can see on the screen at the moment?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't get the same values as you for your compound interest and future value.
Okay, well, let me chuck it into my calculator. I also could have put it in wrong. So let's double check. 250,000, 1 plus. Oh, you know why? It's because I wasn't using 10%. You're absolutely right. Your values would be different. Let's change these quickly. I was using a different percentage when I worked this out, but then I thought it would be too nasty. 10% over 12 to the power of 14. So that gave us 28080,0417. Kanya, does that look like something you had?
Yes.
Yay! Okay. 18,000, and then we've got 1 plus 10% over 12 to the power of 14 minus 1 all over our interest. Sorry, I muted myself. Okay, 266,115, comma 6031. Now let's subtract those. Oh, this calculator work. But what's nice with financial maths is that you kind of like, you're going to get one of these questions. Like you're kind of guaranteed to get a present value or future value amount. And then you're guaranteed to get a balance of the loan type question. So if you know how to do it, it's just like marks in your pocket, basically. Okay, so this is going to be 14,684, 81392. And now we're going to chuck that into our compound interest formula. To the power of 1. And we get very close, but not quite the same. 14,807,19. Whew, that was a lot of work. Okay, I hope that this is making some kind of sense. We're gonna come back to see if we have enough time. I just want us to I want everyone to be able to do a question fully by themselves here. So I am not going to help you at all. And what I want you to do is read through this question. I'm not going to tell you what formula to use. I'm not going to tell you anything along the way. I just want to know what my answer is. So I want you all to read through this, try and decipher it as best you can, figure out what formula to put it in, and then tell me what my answer is going to be. It's not a tricky question. I'm not trying to trick you. It's much more straightforward than the last one we've done. So for this one, once you're happy with your answer, just chuck your answer into the comments for me, just so I can get an idea of where you're at and how many people have done it, because I don't want to rush you with trying to find the answer here. But don't overthink it. I'm not trying to trick you, I promise. If you're worried about anything that you're doing, please feel free to ask. You can double check a value, you can double check N, you can double check I. Let's just see how this one goes as you're going through it. Okay, I'm going to give you guys another minute and a bit to try and finish this one off. If you're feeling good with your answer, you're welcome to put it in the chat. Let's see if anyone gets the same value that I got. Okay, let's start breaking this down. So there's a few important things that we can see from this. First of all, the loan. Ooh. Okay, so now in this case, you wouldn't be adding interest because it's not a final payment. Well, it is a final payment, but he says in the question, it says that he wants to pay the loan off immediately after the 6th payment, which means it's not going to sit in the account for a month gaining interest. So it's a good question. Okay, so the first thing is that the loan was 100,000 Rand. Okay, that's important for us to know as we move forward. We know that the payments are semi-annually, so that's twice a year, and that they are each 3,000 Rand. So that's our X value. Okay, interest was added at 12% per annum, compounded semi-annually, which means our interest is 12% semi-annually over 2. 3 years after the loan was taken out, Joe wins the lottery and wants to pay off the balance immediately after the 6th payment, which means it's not sitting in the account for a month. And the 6th payment is telling us our N value. So from here, we're just going to put it into our formulas. So first part, A, is 100,000, 1 plus 12% over 2 to the power of N, which is 6. And I got 141,851,911,2. Okay. Oh, we're seeing different answers. Thank you for putting your answers in the comments, guys. All right, let's have a look at the second part. So that's the first part. Second part is we want to put this in our future value formula. We have 3,000 Rand. Oh, hello.
I have a question, ma'am. By N, how do we know when to times it by 2 or not?
Oh, okay. Yeah, when to times it by 2 or 12 or whatever. It's a good question. If they said here that he wanted to know what it would be after 3 years, for example, okay, then I have to think, well, he's making 2 payments per year. And so it would be therefore 6 payments. But if they tell you how many payments it is, then that is my end value. So the only time I would have to multiply it by 12 or 6 or 2 is if they tell me a time period in years.
Oh,
Okay.
only with years, and you times it by.
However
2.
often. Exactly,
Oh.
yeah. Exactly. But if they just say payments, then you're fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Your P was wrong. Benedict, what did you make your P? Did you not use the 100,000?
I used the 3,000.
Oh no, you silly man! No! Ah, that must be very frustrating. But don't worry, this is why we make these mistakes, because now you're not going to make this in a test or exam situation. Now we know. Okay, so now we're going to put this into our future value. So we have the 3,000, open that bracket, 1 plus 12% semi-annually to the power of 6 minus 1, all over that interest rate of 12% over 2. Now remember, each of these, you're getting an answer. So, I mean, well, obviously you're getting an answer, you're getting a mark with your answer. Okay, so let's chuck that into the calculator. 3,000, open bracket, 1 plus fraction, 12% over 2, close bracket to the power of 6, minus 1, close bracket, over fraction, 12% over 12. Oh, I said over 12, over 2. There we go. Okay, and here I get 20925, comma, whoop. There we go. It wanted to run away from me. 925, comma 95561. Okay. Did anyone get to this point with both their A and their FB that they're happy with? So our A value, our FB. No? Okay. Okay, let's go through our third step. Third step is we're going to take our, oh yes, well done, Nala. Okay, now we're going to take our A and we're going to minus our FB. So 141,851,9112 minus 20,925 Rand, 95561. And let's chuck that in. But we should get, oh, well done, Kanya, 120,000. You did PV, yeah, okay. No, it's okay. It often happens. Just remember that whenever we're doing balance of loan, it's always going to be FE. But you did PV because you saw loan. So actually, I'm quite proud of you because you saw something which was good for normal questions, just not in balance of a loan. 120,925,96. And the only reason I don't add interest is because it is being paid immediately. Sure, that was a big question. Okay. So I had some questions here, but I'm worried about our time. So I think maybe, does anyone need me to sit here any longer? Okay. I think maybe what we should do is let's have a look at okay, let's have a look at just question 1. I think we're going to have to accept the fact that we're not going to be able to get through them all. So I promise I'll put question 2. I'll put these questions into the questions that we tackle on Thursday. So don't worry, question 2 you will see on Thursday. I just want you all to give question 1 a try. So these were from past papers, and question 1 was out of 3 marks. It's not trying to trick you in any way. Let's see if anyone can get 3 out of 3. Hopefully everyone can get 3 out of 3. That's my goal here. That will mean that we've ended on a great note. I'm not disappearing from the question. I'm just giving you more space and getting rid of question 2. There we go. Remember, write your list of important things on the side. Find your answer. Put your answer in the comments. And as soon as I start seeing that we have a whole bunch of right answers, we can call it a night. I wish I had you guys for like 3 hours a night. I mean, I'm sure you don't, because I don't think you want to do maths for 3 hours in the evening, but okay, have we got some answers coming in? Oh, I see an answer from Kanya. I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong yet, because I want to see another answer come through. Okay. So this question is not an annuity because I'm not making payments. Someone fell for the trap. I'm not, it's okay. So I can see how you're like, it says it's a retirement annuity. Yes. Okay. But it's a retirement annuity payout, which means there was just this amount of money that was then invested for a certain amount of time at a certain interest rate. I'm not making any, monthly payments or taking any monthly things out. It's just a lump sum of money. Okay, so my p-value is just 2.5 million. My interest rate is 7.25% compounded annually, so I'm not going to divide it by anything. And my time is just 3, because it's just 3 years. I'm not compounding monthly, it's compounded annually. Okay, so then I'm just going to put that into my formula. So A is equal to 2.5 million. 1 plus our interest rate, which is 7.25%, all to the power of 3. And when we chuck that into our calculator, we should get, I saw an answer earlier of someone who got this right, 3,084,124.57 cents. So well done. I know that the annuity kind of throws people off because you see it and you're like, okay, obviously it has to be future value or present value. But as soon as there isn't a monthly payment, it's not an annuity the way that we know annuities. And sadly, that is where we are going to be calling it a night. And I'm going to be passing on to Coco. Well done to everyone. Well done to everyone who contributed, who asked questions. I will see you on Thursday and we will finish off the bubble that is financial maths.
Thanks so much, Ms. G. Wow, that was a lot. That question, the 14 payments and a little bit, mine just blown. I couldn't even. Funny, I actually, in my first year university for my teaching prac, our professor asked us that most of us got it wrong. So guys, don't feel bad if you didn't get it right. The people who are supposed to be teaching are also learning about it. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Share. Okay. So this is what we've been looking at so far, and I hope you guys are with me. Taking forever to load. I have no idea what's going on. Oh my goodness. Like this, I'm going to have to present my screen like this because it's not actually working for us today. So I hope you guys can see. Ms. Jesus, just tell me if you can see grade 12 finance as, okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry. The other mentor was just telling me she couldn't hear me, but we're all good. Okay, guys. So we've been doing grade 12 finance for now, and this is sadly our penultimate lesson. On Thursday, we're going to final. Not next week. On Thursday, Ms. G is going to be going through tackle those for your final exams or your prelims if you're still writing. So she'll be here to help you guys with that. Our leaderboard is looking very scant, guys. Oh, well, a lot of you are fighting for 5th place, which I'm not liking. I was hoping a lot more of you guys would be fighting for 1st, but well done. Very nice. He managed to do 7 lessons this week, but I couldn't, compress it all in one. And everybody who's doing one, guys, how dare you? We need to work a little bit better. But it takes practice. So if you guys don't have that much time to go through all of that, that's fine. As long as you guys are practicing your maths, even if it's in your textbooks, that's fine as well. Okay, so we're going to look at our homework for this week. Again, we're going to be going to our topic on finance, and then we're going to be looking at present value annuities. And what you're going to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that's not what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the summary of a balance of a loan. So everything that you guys have been doing today on finding the balance, A minus FV, all of that you're going to find in summary of a balance of a loan. And for today until Thursday. So you guys have some time to go look through that. Make sure you understood everything that Ms. G went through today. Okay, so that's it from us. I'm going to stop sharing my screen quickly. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. If you can just unmute, say thank you to Ms. G, and bye-bye. We'll see you guys all on Thursday. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ms. G.
Thank you, Ms. G.
ma'am.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Well done. It was a lot of
Bye.
information today. Well done.